Brittany here with your art fill of the week, and this week is another addition to my alphabet character challenge with the letter K. I chose to create fan art from a childhood favorite, Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service, the Studio Ghibli movie. This video project was months in the making, so I was working on this on the side of the other stuff I previously posted. So the main issue I had was sort of the thing that a lot of artists have issue with, is when the image in your head isn't lining up with the stuff you're drawing or painting or creating, and it's frustrating because you have this vision in your head and your skill level is not producing what you want it to. And as you could see, I tried watercolor first, then I went to my go-to art medium of acrylic paint and even cut out a piece of canvas to paint on, and still couldn't get her the way I wanted to. So then I moved on to digital painting, which I am way less skilled at as a medium on digital painting programs, but I had a greater ability to adjust minor things and get proportions correct and erase easily. Being one of my favorite childhood nostalgic characters, I wanted to get it right. And besides the actual creation issues, I wanted to rewatch the film and also read the book that this movie adaptation was based on. I watched and read Howl's Moving Castle for the first time a couple months ago, and I kind of wanted to do a similar thing with Kiki's Delivery Service. And I actually realized in my rewatch I remembered very little of the actual movie because 8-year-old me was very focused on the silly cat Gigi the entire time, and so all I really remembered was Gigi and the art style and Kiki being a witch, and that was about as much as I remember. Like, I didn't remember that she actually helped with the bakery and met an artist friend, and I also had forgotten that she was only 13 when she left to the new town, which 8-year-old me probably thought 13 was like adult anyway, and that didn't really register with me as an 8-year-old watching because there was a cute cat that she had as a pet. And with my first read ever of the book, I got to see once again, similar to Howl's Moving Castle, Miyazaki does take like a different shift in tone to how he adapts the book, where both books, both Howl's Moving Castle and Kiki, the books themselves have a more light-hearted and humorous tone, whereas the movie versions try to speed that up and also like change elements of these two stories, but the core plot and idea is still there. It's just like Miyazaki's take on these stories. So basically, you can enjoy both entities as separate but similar things. So if you like one, you'll like the other, but just know they're slightly different. But I think you'll still enjoy them. And it's something that can be family oriented because the books are geared towards a younger audience, especially a younger reading level. So you could enjoy the whole like reading the book and then watching the movie as a family type thing, which is fun. I enjoyed it just myself anyway, because I enjoyed these films as a child, and then getting to finally read the book was also enjoyable. And now moving on to my actual fan art creating. I told you before that I struggled, and this project was a journey in itself, battling with my skill as an artist. I've stated a lot on this channel, if you've been around, that I am not the greatest at drawing people. That's not something I draw or paint a lot. I'm usually doing landscapes or animals or faux textures, and humans are not one of the things I gravitate towards to paint often. Like, I've maybe only done 1 or 2 commissioned portraits in my entire artist existence, and that was for family basically, and one was like a memorial painting to a person, which was like something that I felt like I needed to at least try and do my best at. And I also do not choose to do digital painting a lot because I'm still learning and trying to like learn my style of painting, but in the digital medium or format. And it's definitely something different to learn because the program itself you have to learn, and then also how the brushes work and the pen sensitivity. When a paintbrush, you're holding it a lot different and you can maneuver it differently. And I know there's different brushes you can download based on the program you are using. But my whole thing is I don't want to take the extra hours to search through the downloadable brushes to then download them and then have to get used to them, trying to learn how to use them to create my style. Like, it's a whole bunch of just like time consumption that I don't really want to use, and I want to use the tools given in the actual program and go from there to learn. So that's why I don't download specific brushes or have my own specific brushes, because I don't even know how I would create my own, because that's another time consumption thing that I would rather spend my time creating art instead of creating my brushes to then create art. It just doesn't seem like a good idea to me. Not to mention that digital art is slowly being taken over by AI, so traditional art is gonna win in the end. And sometimes, even in traditional art, a tool or medium isn't the cause, and that it's sometimes a skill issue or a user error for that specific thing. Like, if you get advice to use a certain type of paintbrush, it may not be something that works for you to use. So I think it's the same with digital programs. So I actually struggled through many sessions of this digital painting. I would need to take breaks after staring at Kiki for hours and not liking her, and I would just stop and work on something else, go do something else, sleep on it, and come back the next day. So starting fresh, I could change and correct things as I went. I change up where Gigi the cat is sitting on her broom. I change it from her kind of like hugging him to him being on the edge of the broom. I also realize in a separate session that I didn't put on her satchel that she uses for her delivery service. So with the magic of editing, this video is almost 30 minutes long, but between cutting out all of the extra hours I spent on the watercolor and the acrylic painting version, and I even cut some out of the digital painting process. So this was a lot of hours of work. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you see artists post their sped up process or they put them on shorts. Just know there's a lot of hours behind the work that you're actually seeing. And for me, it was because I'm a perfectionist and I have to get things right and to match what's in my brain for how I want to go about creating a thing. If it's not matching up with the vision in my head, I get very frustrated, and it takes a long time to get something to where I guess approve of it. And if you've ever applied for a job or done like a job interview, my answer to a flaw or something like that can hinder my work with work ethic and stuff was always perfectionism, because I want to get something right and done right. And sometimes that means I take longer to get that thing to be perfect. So that was always my answer in job interviews. And since I was focused so hard on making Kiki correct in my head, I think I also had an issue then with Gigi where I wanted to have that semi-realistic look with him and his fur and not be too cartoonish of a cat, and I didn't want to completely copy the cartooned Miyazaki style, and I wanted him to be more of a realistically proportioned cat. So I struggled a little once I moved on to creating Gigi in this art as well. It did definitely help that I moved him from her like hugging him to having his own separate moment on the broom and actually being in the place we usually see him in the movie anyway, because she wasn't like hugging him onto her broom all the time anyway. And once I got the characters themselves perfect in my eyes, I moved on to the background, laying in a base color first. I wanted to do the city based on the Miyazaki images, that kind of tiered seaside town. And the background itself took me 2 separate days to do, to have a break in between, because being the best at landscapes, I wanted to take my time with it and try to use the tools given to me to do the landscape justice when I'm not as familiar with the medium. We're getting to the final touches on the complete art of Kiki. I hope you enjoyed this fan art video of the letter K character for my alphabet challenge. I already have an idea for the letter L. If you want to guess in the comments. So I don't need suggestions because I already have one in mind. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed my fan art. And also subscribe if you want to check out more art videos by me. Especially if you want to find out who I create for the letter L. I would definitely subscribe. And then you can see my pain with another human character for the letter L. And also if you have suggestions for later in the alphabet, I'll take those too. I hope that I have less of a gap in between the characters that I had between the letters J and K, but we'll see. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll be there for the next video.